Big 12 Sound Roundup.
Check 1, 2.
The best bites, cheap shots, and excuses from Saturday's postgame news conferences.
Welcome back into First and 12. Mitch Harper, Alex Keary with you on KSL News Radio and the KSL Sports Zone. It's brought to you by Macy's Grocery Store. Happy shopping, as you heard. The best sound bites from around Big 12 football this weekend, and they all center around BYU and Utah. How could it not? It was the best game of the weekend in the league, and Mark Harlan, the AD, him sounding off starts us off.
This game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight.
You know, we were trying to figure out whether or not, like, he's doing his job as an AD to make sure and put his elbows out with the league and figure things out. But there's the part two where you go, yeah, but you're asking these kids right after you go to that same podium to be professional, and that's a hard thing to ask him after he and then Kyle Whittingham, of course, who went up there and you know, and we'll hear those comments next hour. I mean, it was a lot, and it was a ton of emotion. Obviously, this game brings a lot of it, but I think you need to do a little bit more as the athletic director to say, hey, let's step back for a second here. We don't need to get a fine of $100,000 to the school or whatever it's going to end up being. And you know what? We got to tell these kids, I'm sorry that it went down this way. It stinks. Let's go out and let's figure out a way to get to 6 wins or whatever it is the message can be. You got to hold back a little bit. You can't wag your finger in front of the officials at midfield and have that be the image that you have for your school.
In Utah's image of being the university in the Big 12 that hates being in this league. That does not help the efforts, those sort of comments. You know, it's been pretty well documented that Utah wanted to stay in the Pac-12 at all costs, and they were there till the bitter end, and there was always this feeling that they didn't want to be in the Big 12, and hearing comments like that, I mean, the people that the league is going to probably look at that and go, what's the deal here? Like, why are you calling this out and questioning the outcome? I mean, how badly do you hate being in this league? I mean, it's a tough look, but you know, I'm very curious to see what the fallout will be from this and how Brett Yormark and the offices in Irving respond to this, because you got to kind of set precedent here and say this isn't going to be allowed. It's going to hit your pocket, and I got to imagine this is going to result in a big fine.
Well, let's go to BYU's locker room, and we don't get to hear from these guys very often, but the field goal kicker Will Ferrin out of Davis High School.
Big Game Bill.
And then, of course, out of he was one of those Boise State guys who came down with K-pop, and he's been absolutely nails for this BYU team, kicking field goals, made 3 of 3 last night, including the game winner. I'll be honest, at that part of the field, on that hash, from that angle, there's a little bit of that Brandon Burton, whether or not 16-17 type of a finish was going to happen, but Ferrin was nails, and here's what he sounded like in the postgame.
For me, it's just whenever they tell me to go out there and kick the ball, I'll go out there and kick the ball. It's a pretty simple life, so I love it. Describe the kick. What was it like? It's cool. In my job, every play is the same play call, so that's something that we've been doing. Yeah, like when Sam Vanderhaar came in, we hit the ground running in January, and the amount of reps that we've gotten as an operation is almost overkill, I think. I've told people a lot that I think Sam Vanderhaar's gotten the most amount of reps holding out of anyone in the country in the last 12 months or whatever it is. And that's something that we take a lot of pride in. So we do that, so when we get into situations like this, it's just another kick, and we can go out and execute like we've been doing for however long we've been here.
Well, you knew that there wasn't going to be a lot, just go out and do it.
There's always a lot of time to think about it when you're standing on the sideline. So it doesn't really matter to me. The time that people are looking at me is a small portion of the time that I'm spending thinking. So it goes back to that neutral mindset, and it's just whatever. I'll go kick the ball when they tell me to.
So what was it like watching it go through? Because that's the bottom line.
Yeah. It was awesome. You always talk about like celebrations you do and that kind of thing. They weren't. I didn't think of any of them. I think I just stood still and
pandemonium is the word
for people to come celebrate with me. But it's cool, and it's cool to share that moment with all the guys on that field goal team. This year we've had a lot of buy-in from that group, so it's cool. It's cool to have everyone be a part of it.
There you go. That's Will Ferrin. after BYU's victory, he had 9 points. So he was clutch for BYU, knocked 3 field goals through the uprights for BYU because that offense stalled on a couple of drives, and Will Ferrin saved them and got some points on the board. So huge night for Will Ferrin. To your point, Alex, he has been really clutch for this BYU team this season, and even last year when he arrived on campus. He's been a big asset for the Cougs.
Jake Retzlaff then, of course, took the podium, and now 9-0 after being 0-4 last year as the starting quarterback for BYU to end the season. Just the dream continues for Jake Retzlaff. Here's what he sounded like.
You guys know we love 2-minute drill. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when I was in the end zone, my back in the end zone after going down, it wasn't a good feeling. Looking up and seeing that, we had new life, the guys are confident, man. In 2-minute drill, you talk to a lot of people, that first down is the catalyst. And so that is a key thing to get. And once we got it, however we get it, we started rolling, and so it was fun. It's easy in a big rivalry game to get caught up in the emotion of it. And I think we did a little bit of that in the first half. And then the second half, we did a lot better of just kind of attacking it and doing our thing. And just getting back to our roots, man. The team's good for a reason. We do a lot of good things. And so just being us and not trying to be anything more or anything less, just being us was kind of the message.
All right, there you go. There's your sound roundup. We'll take another break here. We'll come back. Mitch, when we return, we'll do the BYU breakdown side of the Utah-BYU rivalry game last night. The BYU won 22-21 in dramatic, insane fashion, just like the rivalry brings you. So we'll come back. We've got more to go right around the corner. Don't miss any of it right here on a Sunday on 1st and 12, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone and KSL News Radio.